Okay, plumbers, let's talk a little bit about advertising and mass communication as it's meant to be used to build businesses. All right, so we all know about lead generation. Lead generation is when people need a plumber and then they call you and then they hire you, which is fine and dandy and great, right? You get the customer, you have the customer for the lifetime of that customer. It's going to be anywhere from long time, and you're definitely going to make your money back if you're patient enough, because most customers, if you're good, are going to stick with you 5 to 10 years. Well, there's a whole nother side to advertising. You have to remember that things like PPC, Yelp, Thumbtack, Home Advisor, or Angie's, and Google Local Service Ads are all advertising 1-to-1. For every time that you pay for a lead, one person gets to know about you. And while that's a great way to get a customer for that day, you got two problems. One, they're always going to be expensive because they're at need and everybody's competing for it. The other thing is you are ignoring everybody else in the market, and that is dangerous. You see, when you use other mass communication platforms such as YouTube, Google Display, Facebook and Instagram, print, radio, TV, suddenly you take it from going 1-to-1 and you are advertising 1 to thousands. And a lot of people don't appreciate the scale that this is and what you get with it. So, for instance, $5 to $8 right now is how much it costs for 1,000 views on your ads. Okay? That's on Facebook if it's a photo post. If you do video, it's more expensive because it's more expensive. It makes sense to me anyway. But the concept is that you run a communication to build credibility and ultimately to build influence. And that's what you really get when you start advertising utilizing these platforms as they are meant to be. And you need that scale because you have to be persuasive. You have to convince people that you are the one in the market to call. So gather up your reviews, gather up customer testimonials, have some fun with your presence, and blast it out into the world. But there's a caveat to this whole thing, which is don't do your whole service area if you have a small budget. I see this all the time. And I'm always telling people, reverse engineer what your budget can do. Okay? You want to reach people. I mean, it's awesome if you can reach people 24 times in a month. Okay? And so what that is that's going to be you setting a target zone of geography and target demographic and going, well, there's this many people inside of this bubble. Now I'm going to take my budget. I'm going to buy those $5 to $8 1,000 bucket views, pop that into the market, and I want to reach people anywhere from 15 to 24 times within a month. So you're showing up largely 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week. That's what we're trying to engineer. Because when you do that, when you hit those eyeballs enough, it builds credibility. And if you don't hit them enough, what happens is somebody else gets the association of being the bigger, better plumber in town. And a lot of people are going like, oh no, how do I afford that? Well, all you got to do is shrink your geography. So if your budget can't sustain what you got, shrink it down to your favorite neighborhoods that you want to make traction in. And that's what a lot of people aren't doing when they're placing their advertising. So you've got that whole measure for it. That's how you start making yourself persuasive, is you show up before they ever need you. And you got to remember the whole goal of advertising is to not just be a plumber, but to be the chosen plumber before they go to the internet and look around. Because ultimately, if you're advertising on a big enough scale with a high enough frequency, they're going to choose you before they even have a problem. You're going to be logged into their brain matter as the plumber that they are going to call when they have an issue, instead of waking up and going, crap, who do I call? And that's a super powerful place to be. And that is ultimately how you build companies. So as you spend money on lead generation, like LSA, Yelp, Thumbtack, and all these other things, make sure that the revenue that you make off of those people goes back into the system of your marketing, into brand awareness, into influence, because you are trying to change human behavior, and you don't get to do that without repetition, which is why I'm saying the same message again and again and again. If you look back through my videos, you'll see me say this before, and you'll see me say it a lot more. So that's my lesson of the day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, week, or whatever you're doing. If you want to find more out about me, you go to tylerwilliams.net. You can also get to my agency through that link. But more than anything else, I hope this was useful. If you ever want to talk to me, I do consults as well. But you have a good one. Enjoy.